Fei Li, a Stanford professor, well known for her pioneering work in artificial intelligence, has built in 4 months a $1 billion spatial startup funded by Andreessen Horowitz, who declined to comment. And my browser window glitched out. And you know how expensive compute is? And according to WorldCoin and OpenAI's Sam Altman, it's very expensive. So we need it for all the AI. And you are going to be coerced into not using your electricity in order to gain credits, otherwise known as energy badges, which all the money now is in the form of badges or tokens. That's what's coming. I'm not promoting it. That's what's coming. I got a lot of comments about how me talking about a thing means I'm promoting it, and I'm actually not. I do not prefer it, but I don't know what there is to prefer over it. I just, can we change the world without ubiquitous sensing? No, apparently not. Anyway, so $4 billion AI startup. Compute is really expensive. It takes a ton of energy, but we're in an energy crisis. You can't use your washing machine because Fei Li needs it. There's probably some detail that I'm missing here that someone more sophisticated can explain to me. And if you have that understanding, please tell me. You can tell me privately. You can tell me publicly. I don't care. So there's an article in the Register this week about ransom attacks and how they're very costly and blah, 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 something critical infrastructure. Watch my special report where I talk about stuff like this. Also, senators are bothering AT&T and Snowflake about the giant data breach. So remember all that stuff that happened with Snowflake? There was a big report that came out about it, and then Snowflake said that the thing that happened wasn't their problem, and now they're implicated in this thing with AT&T about the data breach. And who knows if this is all, there is an equal chance that this is completely just a big whoops and a coincidence, and then there's an equal chance that public sentiment needs to be massaged into Web3 mass adoption, which is what my special report video is about. So CrowdStrike caused everything to get the blue screen of death. Everything went down all over the world, and it was very alarming. And it wasn't a cyber attack. It was an oopsie, and it's all coming together just in time for Mars to trine Pluto. So now we're moving into the conversation of Web3 mass adoption. We need to put all critical infrastructure on blockchain because it's too vulnerable. The Financial Times immediately came out with an article about how our infrastructure is vulnerable. The conversation has begun. So I predicted this. I predicted that something important around this narrative of exploitations and our critical infrastructure being vulnerable was going to congeal around a conversation about decentralized physical infrastructure networks, putting everything on blockchain, which means you are going to need a MetaMask or a Uniswap. Or that's what the WorldCoin thing is for. It's a digital ID. Anyway, there's plenty of stuff that is good, about privacy and security, obviously. I'm into that stuff. And speaking of that, shares of ticker WLD went way up after they announced that they're going to slow down the release of tokens or something. I don't totally understand how that works. I think all the inordinate complexity of everything that's coming is on purpose. You cannot be knowing how to work things. But again, security and privacy are important, and what this is a digital ID project. So earlier this month, Meta came out with multi-token prediction pre-trained models that you can play with. And this is a big deal because it's it multiplies the speed and efficiency with which LLMs can be trained, and also it probably multiplies the speed and efficiency with which Meta can learn you through your participation in the metaverse, which is social media. But it's also cool. I don't have a slide for this, but the mental health company BetterHelp apparently has been found out in giving Meta and Snapchat private mental health data on people. So there are several of these hot air balloon companies that will take you into the stratosphere. Watch my Jupiter and Gemini report where I talk about getting really excited about going to space. The space shuttle program is a Jupiter and Gemini joint, and this is very on brand for Jupiter and Gemini, especially for Jupiter with a big buoyant balloon taking us to space. So exciting astrology news. I mean, I'd love to go into the stratosphere. So here's the thing. There are 3 separate startups and who will take you to space in a big balloon. And Elon Musk is going to move SpaceX and X from California to Texas. And apparently it has to do with like some transgender law, I guess. And also, I also saw a tweet of him saying there were like always weird people in front of his building to get in. So it was like employees can't get in the building. But anyway, Texas is becoming a blockchain capital of what's left of the nation in the time that's left of the nation, at least until it'll at least be a nation until maybe like 2028. It definitely won't be recognizable after 2032, but I digress. Everything's moving to Texas. Texas is a very important place for blockchain and just technology in general. So, I mean, I have a feeling that sure, I'm sure that there is like certainly a polarizing policy of some sort, but also Texas is just really attractive if you're in technology. So Salesforce cut a bunch of jobs in keeping with the theme of like mass dispossession, put everyone on blockchain. Do you see what's been happening? Like since winter, all of the layoffs that have happened since like the Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, like 2 Mercury retrogrades ago, that's like around the holidays through till now, and the ongoing conversation about the vulnerability of our critical infrastructure networks all comes together in a little video made in 2018 by Alison McDowell called Blockchain: Life on the Ledger. You should go look it up. In fun spreadsheet news, Microsoft came out with a spreadsheet LLM for you to play with. OpenAI has a thing called Strawberry that apparently helps AI do like deep research, whatever that means. It's a secret project. But it's a secret project, one of those secret projects with a press release. I find this news more important than the OpenAI secret project public press release. The founder of Everlane is launching a new supplement business. Supplements are the future of technology. Get into supplements. There is some really good advice. So if you're looking to get into supplements because they are the future is like, it's managed wellness. It's putting weird things into supplements. That's what Jupiter in Cancer is. I'm making a whole video about it, because Jupiter in Cancer is squaring Saturn in Aries. But anyway, it's all about selling you supplements, but then they have weird stuff in it, or like smart dust that can then track you throughout the meat space. I'm not saying he's doing this. I'm just saying supplements are so hot right now. And if you're thinking of getting into them, I'm reminded of a quote from the 4-Hour Workweek, where he was like, if you are going to start a business, think twice before you get into edibles, because you will have like hundreds of people calling you and telling you about their diarrhea all day long. So I thought that was really interesting. And in fun news, Balenciaga came out with a Vision Pro runway app, which there is like a thrilling comfort of like being front row at a fashion show, not being judged for my outfit. Anyway, my other project is Beauty Grease. It's about skincare. I have a YouTube channel, which I haven't posted on in a while. I'm slowly starting to post on social media again. Won't you join me? Let me tell you how what you buy is useless, and let me tell the companies you buy it from that what they sell is useless. Be specific, it's like a spectrum. It's a range from like useless to fun and innocuous and maybe like very fleetingly beneficial, but most of it is useless and even like harmful. All right. This week, the second full moon in Capricorn happened. So over this summer, what's your rising sign? So then what is Capricorn in your chart? And how was like the summer so far? 2 different crescendos of like building in that area of your life. Monday should be fun. The moon makes aspects to both Venus and Jupiter, and none of those aspects are squares. One of them's in opposition, but I'll take it. And it's a very Leo Aquarius day, so it's like see and be seen, and winning hearts and minds, or the hive mind being mobilized, or you're ostentatious. Beware of being ostentatious. There might be backlash. You're like luxurious display might get some opposition. The royal parts of ourselves want to be seen and want to show off, but there's also like we might be uncomfortable with it on a very basic level. It's like show off, but watch out for your overlords. There might be some sort of like surprise opposition to your display of lavishness. Tuesday's like a mixed bag. So early in the morning, these things apply to Monday. It's kind of why I say like there might be a surprise opposition or like surprise friction. The moon in Aquarius squares Uranus and opposes Mercury. But then we get a whole new set of bullshit when the moon moves into Pisces and wants to chill and then immediately squares Mars. So that happens first thing in the morning, and that's all that happens on Tuesday. We're just reeling with whatever that was. I would, whatever that is, if you have extra time to get ahead, do it, because Thursday is going to be busy. Wednesday, you can continue planning for Thursday. The moon in Pisces squares Jupiter in Gemini, like early in the morning before sunrise. So that sort of contributes to any potential happy ending, like wrapping up what you can wrap up on Tuesday. But Wednesday, you're kind of able to take a wide view of things. The moon conjoins Saturn in the middle of the day. So it's about like getting things done. And then early on Thursday, the moon sextiles Uranus and conjoins Neptune. So on Wednesday, we're kind of floating around, getting things done, checking things off our to-do list, maybe like having to bear some sort of constriction or like limitation of some sort, or choosing to, if you're presented with the option to go forward with a limitation rather than like all the things, choose the limitation. That might help you with everything that's coming on Thursday. Thursday morning, you can't put your finger on Thursday morning until like 9 a.m/noon Eastern time. The moon's conjoining Neptune. You might not want to get up early. So like the restriction that you could impose upon yourself on Wednesday is to go to bed early, because you might not want to wake up very early on Thursday. But Thursday is busy, and believe me, your future self will be happy if you wake up early on Thursday. I feel like the day becomes more productive after the moon moves into Aries around 8 a.m. The conjunction with Neptune happens also closer to 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern. So the mid-morning until like afternoon, you can go crazy. Like you could get a lot done, and you'll have things pinging you also. So, or it might just be like until late afternoon, it might be just like kind of conversational. You might actually have like more productive meetings or like figuring something out together. And also Aries right now is the metaverse. Like that's where the metaverse is going to become our new economy and our new government. So the moon is, anytime the moon's in Aries now, you can just imagine it preparing you to live in the metaverse, like for the next year. But if you're scrolling all day, then you do live in the metaverse. So late in the afternoon, the Mercury moves into Virgo, which is exciting for Mercury stuff. You could actually like get things done, things can work right. And also we have the sun's sextile with Mars, which is like a burst of energy. So you could sprint towards the finish line to like shutting down your workday or whatever on Thursday. Friday also looks fun, so you'll definitely want to wrap things up on Thursday so that you can have fun on Friday. So on Friday, we just have the moon in Aries sextiling Jupiter in Gemini, which is like very active and talkative. And the moon in Aries also trines Venus in Leo. So we have like vivacious, talkative displays of affection, and enjoy it, because Venus will not be in Leo forever this year as it was last year, even though parts of that were probably not very enjoyable, even if they were exciting. Venus is moving into Virgo pretty quickly, like the end of next week. Not that that's like necessarily terrible, it's just there's like there's a warmth to Venus in Leo that Venus in Virgo, that doesn't necessarily come naturally to Venus in Virgo. Saturday, the tone changes completely. The moon immediately moves into Taurus, where it immediately squares Pluto. And the moon also trines Mercury. It is mostly something that you can make use of. It's not like a hard aspect. It's the moon in Taurus, exalted, trining Mercury in Virgo, exalted. So there is like a practical figuring things out and like talking things out in a practical way, trying to figure out, it's like splitting up the belongings or like figuring out how to divide the assets. It's a very like physical, material, organizational. On the Taurus end, primal. On the Mercury end, logical. Moon Mercury signature. And the moon squares the sun. So that's, the moon is moving into the third quarter moon. So we're officially in like waning moon phase, wrapping things up until Mercury stations on the dark moon in Leo at the beginning of August. So shift all your processes to finishing rather than starting. And on Sunday, the moon in Taurus sextiles Saturn in Pisces and squares Venus in Leo. So your world building continues, wrap up this phase of development. It'll be truly like wrapped up and popping off whatever world you're building, if you are, around this time next year. And the moon in Taurus squares Venus in Leo. So I just think like wanting to be the center of attention or share the center of attention versus being comfortable. They're conflicting It seems like maybe you have a desire to be like her, but your jeans don't fit today or something. Or like you end up going out to a big lunch and then you don't want to take pictures. Is Sunday you go to boozy brunch and then like there's some like unflattering social media content, or like boozy brunch leaves you somehow like not enjoying the spotlight as you would like. All that CrowdStrike stuff seems like a distraction from remembering that your Wi-Fi is a camera that can see through walls.